Everybody, welcome to this episode of Alien Strand Podcast. I'm your host, Don Ledesma, and welcome to today's show. Man, thank you for being here today. I really appreciate you guys out there in video land and out there in audio land as well. Okay, so we're live on audio too, so just kind of remember that. If you don't get to catch it, on the video part, well, it's okay. You can go to the audio, go catch us on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Spotify, all those good ones out there. I hope everybody's out there watching and listening. Okay, so man, let me get this disclaimer out first, okay? I gotta do this. I gotta get the disclaimer out first for everybody who's watching tonight. Facebook, read my lips. All this music that's on this podcast, I own, I bought, and I paid for. All right, so it's mine, copyright. It's mine. Okay, so stop flagging me for that. And also, I don't post any nudity of myself on this podcast. So stop saying I'm pushing nudity out there. It's not happening, guys. Okay. So let's get with the program. Stop cutting me off. Stop saying I'm doing nudity and all this crap. It's not happening. I'm giving you all the information, to these podcasts. I love everybody, and everybody's been sticking up for Alien Strand Podcast. Thank you guys for doing that, to be out there and just spreading it out to everybody out there, because you know why? We're about disclosure, man, and that's what it's about. We're about disclosure, just giving out all the information out there. Mr. Terry Lynch is out there watching tonight. He's talking about Mr. Michael Beavers out there in Oregon. So he did a podcast last night. He called me last night, and he mentioned Alien Strand. He mentioned all the films of the middle, part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4. He mentioned all those as well. So and he's a great part of ufology, and he's part of ASTP. He's part of the Oregon ufology group out there, and the research team, and we just love to have him out there because he's spreading awareness just like everybody else out here as well. Okay, so thank you, Mr. Michael Beavers. Great shout out to you guys. Thank you, Sue Harrison out there watching tonight. All right, yeah, we sent you the invite. I wanted to make sure that you guys made it. I sent a bunch of folks in the invite. Now, another thing also, if we do get kicked off of Facebook, go to our YouTube channel and just click our live feed right there. It'll say live tab. You'll find us there. If you end up losing connection, just go to the YouTube. You'll see us live there as well. Okay. So we're live on X right now. So if you guys are on X out there watching, you can actually post your comments. Your comments will come through. Now, if you guys are on Instagram right now, I did it on Instagram as well. So if you guys are watching tonight, I can't put your comments out. They don't have the platform yet ready for that, but it's okay. We're going to get all the information out to you as possible. All right. So, don't forget to catch us on Patreon. We are live there as well. Trying to get the feed going on that one. Please, just be patient. This one's going, it's good. It's going through. It's going good. Appreciate you guys for just sticking around with that. All right. We have our merch coming out, and it's coming out soon. They already told me. All right. Here it comes. So tonight's podcast, Alien Brazil 1996. Now, I know this story has been a while. It's been out there for a while. Okay. And, it does, it is considered the Roswell there in Brazil. Okay. So, and that's why this story is going to have, it's been told many, many times. I mean, you guys have probably seen it out there. Right. But, what has changed on this is what I'm going to show you tonight. Right. And I'm going to put a lot of points across so that way we can just kind of, we're going to make sure that you guys see the disclosure on this. Okay. So, me, I like to dig in deep on these things. All right. So don't forget to catch middle, the tetralogy. Of course, Mr. Michael Beavers mentioned there in Oregon last night on a radio station. Thank you for that. We have part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4, but we're actually we only have part 1 and part 2 out right now. As you saw the commercial with Skylight, you can catch it there on the Skylight channel. You can subscribe for $3.99 if you want to be a part of that, and you can watch all the middle films as much as you want. For the one price of $3.99. That's it. You don't have to pay for a different one. All right. If you want to be a subscriber, subscribe to that channel. We have it here on Facebook. You'll find it out there. It's called Skylight 1, actually. Okay, so go check that out. Of course, here it is right there, Skylight. Check it out when you guys have a chance. It's off of Vimeo, right? If you guys watch any videos off of Vimeo, it's like a YouTube kind of knockoff, but hey, it works just as good. All right. So go check us out there as well. Of course, the middle still streaming out there, 13 platforms, going strong, Tubi TV, TCL, all over the place. Give us a thumbs up on that film. Okay. Of course, we're still waiting for it to come out on Prime. It's okay. All right. The most important thing is Alien Strand Disclosure Project. So, okay, if you guys want to sign up with us on Facebook, it's a private group. Please answer all the questions and we'll get you in. If you don't, we're going to have to kick you out. You're going to have to do it all over again. All right. It's not that we're being rude. It's just, it's policy. We have our own policy there. So you got to sign everything, dot the dots and cross the T's, and you're in, man. If you want to learn ufology. So that's what it's about. You can reach all of our folks out there. We have so many people that help. Oh my God. So many people that are on that just love to help everybody on there. Of course, Anibal, and we got Terry out there. We have, Marisol out there. Ryan Keaton's out there. Everybody who's a who's who on our films is actually an ASDP representative as well. Cindy Grigsby out there in Missouri. We have a lot of people all over the United States and in different countries as well. We have Chris Hamill there in Australia. We have, Mr. Paul, I'm sorry. I love him to death. I couldn't remember his name. Anyway, Paul Welborn, he's out there in the United Kingdom. Go check him out. He knows a lot of our stuff as well. He represents ASTP. Jesus Estrada that's watching tonight. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you for doing that. Of course, ufology is what it is about. Now, there was a few films, a few videos out there that came out that I would really, really like to show you guys before I get into this topic. I really hope you guys get to see this. And, it has a lot to do with what has happened in the past couple of weeks, right, of ufology, right? And this first one I'm going to show, what on this video, okay, I know in audio land, I'm going to try to explain it the best way I can. So this car is in the middle of the night, and it's got its headlights on, and there's this thing that's floating in the sky. I mean, literally, maybe, I don't know, 30 feet maybe above this car. And they're filming it. Unfortunately, they're filming it through the windshield, but we know it's not a smear on the windshield. Now, I was able to lighten up the the video a little bit, and kind of bring it out and make it just so that way you can make out the image a little bit. It didn't have any sound to it, but I did add a little bit of my flavor to it, my guitar skills. Right? All right, so here we go. Let's go ahead and watch this a little bit, and hope you guys enjoy this. Here we go. Wow. All right. What did you guys think of that, man? So if you notice, it's not a smear on the actual window. It's the car's moving, and it's moving, against the glass. So it's floating there. Whatever this thing is, it's literally floating above this car. And it's just kind of strange how lately a lot of these sort of biological entities, sort of it's like a living organism or living craft of some sort, is been showing up a lot more lately, on a lot of these films, right? A lot of these just videos that people are finding out there, and that's the strange part about it, right? Is that, they I see it all the time. I'm like, man, these things, they're it's looking more like an entity of some sort, right? When we're watching these things up in the sky. Now, and as strange as it looked, it was strange. It was strange as it looked, Um, it's I try to clear it up as much as I could. And and it just seems to be, it's one solid piece, whatever it is. So it's not kind of moving like an organism or some sort. It's just solidly in the air, and it's just crazy how it is that way, and I don't I couldn't just kind of, I've never seen anything like that, right? And so I was like, all right, I don't know if, I first thing I thought was, oh, somebody smeared windshield, but no, it's standing it's in the air, just, just stationary, and this car is moving, and they're just focusing on this object, right? And which is the strange part about it, and that's when you start noticing, oh no, wait a minute, this is a craft of some sort, right? And I don't know. What do you guys think about that? It's just as strange as it seems, right? On that video. Now, I got one more video, and there's this guy out there. He's been posting a lot lately, ever since he started getting a lot of visitors. Actually, it started from outside of his home, and then it started working its way inside. I'm talking days and months, it took for these things start appearing, and then there's a video that I posted on one of our Facebook pages and here on his podcast of an orb actually floating in his house, and he gets to touch it. I don't know if you guys saw that, right? So his name is Juanito Juan, right? And he got this new video of this orb floating inside of his house. It's in his living room, mind you. Now, I tried to look for a stand or a light or something that was holding it up in the air. No, no, man. You have to see this to believe it. All right. So check this out. This has a lot of energy coming out of it, and you can tell. So let's watch this video real quick. Wow. Did you guys were you blown away with that? Yeah, I was totally blown away when I saw that video. Um the only bad thing I see on that, I'm not talking bad about the video. It's a great video, is and it's not the bad part of the video. It's what will happen to somebody if they're that close to that energy, right? You will get sick. Okay, that's electronic magnetic fields. It's like, to me, we've noticed that people that have been around these orbs really close to them are starting to get ill. All right, so be careful if if you ever see one of these things, or if you're ever in front of one of these things, like this person was, just be very, very careful, because you got to remember these things are like when you get an X-ray, they put that metal thing on you so that it kind of protects you. Whatever they're going to X-ray part of your body, this thing, it has that ability to poison you, in a sense, right? So kind of be careful when you're around something like that. Just make sure that you protect yourself in some way, or just kind of stay a distance, zoom in if you have to. But I mean, whether it's a great video, and it is it's an amazing, beautiful, beautiful video. People are saying, wow, that's beautiful. A dark mass is out there. Sue Harrison's, wow, what kind of pretty is that? It's awesome. People are saying awesome that, because of the video, you see this thing just floating in his living room, and it's moving around, but it's bright, right? Um, Facebook user says, yes, be careful. Don't get too close to these things, because of what could happen to you. Sue Harrison says, again, it's hypnotizing. It sort of is when you're sitting there staring at it. Now, this isn't his first encounter. This is like, oh my God, like maybe his fifth already by now. Right. And that's what makes this video so awesome, because it was so close to this thing, man. I mean, just to be witness to something like that. And to me, it's like, do we know if it's extraterrestrial? No. Do we know if it's paranormal? No. Right? We don't know what this is. still, right? But he says that he got this feeling when he filmed it, like something was telling him, get, it was telling him, he says mentally, it was telling him, get ready. Something's about to happen. This is what it told him, right? While it was standing there in front of him, uh, like mental telepathy, sort of. He got this, it just kept on telling him, get ready. Something big is about to happen, right? And we don't know what that is, really, right? We don't know if this thing's going to, if it knows something bad is going to happen or something good. We're hoping for the good, but I don't know, man. There's just so many things in this world that's happening right now that it's kind of scary to even think of it's going to be something good, you know. And we just got to hope and pray it is, right? But let's go ahead and get into the story tonight. So the incident that I'm gonna tell you about, and I'm gonna bring you a lot of this. I'm gonna bring you one video footage as well. This took place in Virginia, Brazil, right? It's almost like Virginia, right? But you can say it that way if you want. There's like different ways people are saying it. So I don't know. I kind of looked different. Some of the population where this place is at, it looked like one of them said it was only 8,863 people living in this area. But it just seems a little bit more to me. I don't know. I just, that's just the information that I got from there. And then another source that was over 120,000 people living in this area. So this is the part of Brazil where it's at, right? It's kind of like on the right side of Brazil, a little different, right off the edge, closer to the coast, right? But if you notice, there's a lot of woodsy area, a lot of forestry. I mean, it's totally green out there. Of course, Brazil, that's what it is, man. It's out there, it's just nothing but forestry, right? It's a different kind of tropical forestry, right? So, and this is where this incident took place. Now, this place, it's almost like a mini Roswell, right? It has like attractions. What they did was they made this huge UFO sort of looking thing in the middle of the town, right? And then they have like attractions there because this, you got to remember, it happened in 1996, right? So, I mean, and just kind of think about that just for a minute, right? What if, you know, this had happened in a different town, just like our Roswell, right? What if it didn't happen in Roswell? What if it's a different town? People are going to capitalize on it, right? It's just the way it is. It is what it is, right? So this is what happened there as well. They are capitalizing on it a little bit, try to get money into the town, and hey, let it grow. Why not, right? Let people get jobs. That's what it's about. So and that's great. I love the way it looks out there. It looks pretty nice out there. Of course, it's Brazil. It's totally different out there, and you know, the best way that they can do it is to show people exactly what happened to them out there, right? And this story is really, really important if you really think about it. It's super important. So this thing happened around January 13th, 1996, right? Um, and what happened was there was a Brazilian military out there was they caught something on their radar, right? And this they saw this craft and apparently they shot it down, right? And there's a story. There's a director here. He's a storyteller. He'd made a documentary. His name's James Fox, right? So the picture that he's holding there, I don't know if you can see it, is the original photo of the actual of somebody taking a photo of this craft right before it was shot down, right? And that's what you're looking at right there. What I did was I cropped it. I zoomed into the UFO so that way you guys can see the scale of this UFO and what it looked like, right? So, people in the audio world, if you're watching out there, he's holding up a photo, large photo, maybe 8 by 10, maybe a little bit bigger. And, you can see a small craft inside of that photo of the clouds and the sky. So, he was able to grab a lot of information of what happened there in that little town. Now, after this craft was actually shot down, right? They this a lot of this, it was just a lot of people so happen to be walking by and doing a lot of different things, right? So on this day, there was a pilot that was walking around there, and he was just had nothing to do with this, but he was just a regular pilot kind of walking around, and he noticed that something was falling out of the sky. His name's Carlos, right? And he said he saw this UFO crash about 200 meters or 240 meters from a White House, right? Now, he was kind of didn't know whether he should approach this or not, but he went ahead and started approaching it because he says this UFO was probably about the size of a small bus, right? But he said it had a large gaping hole in it, right? Which means what? It was shot down, right? So for him to see that, it gave the information of what happened, right? So as he approached this extraterrestrial vehicle, he noticed that there was pieces on the ground. He said it smelled awful. It smelled like rotten eggs. It smelled like sulfur. Um, he says there was like green smoke coming out of it. And he didn't want to get too close to it. But when he did, he saw a piece on the ground. Now, of course, this is where it gets kind of um, comparison in a way, because he said he grabbed a piece of that debris, picked it up. It's a piece of metal, and he says it was like foil paper. It felt like foil paper in a sense, and he squunched it in his hand, then it formed back again into what it was. Right. So that sounds exactly like the Roswell story in a sense, right? And this is what this pilot says that happened. So he says, and then all of a sudden, these military, actually, it was like a school for military called the ESA. A few trucks started showing up at this spot. So when they did, they started telling him he needs to get the hell away from there, right? They said, "You need to get away from here and leave, like scat, get the hell out of here," right? And he was like, "Well, I'm trying to see if anybody needs any help." And they're like, "No, you need to get out of here." They even took a couple of shots at him, shot towards his feet with their military rifles. That's what scared him off. I mean, that would scare anybody off, right? And at that moment, he was just trying to figure out, okay, wow, what is it that I saw, or what is it that I witnessed, right? They even walked up to him and they threatened him. They told him, if you say anything like this, you're going to disappear, or talk anything about this. So lo and behold, he disappears, but on his own, not through the military. He just disappears on his own. He didn't resurface till 26 years later when they started making this documentary about this. It was called Moment of Contact. That's the name of the documentary that's out there right now by James Fox. Great documentary. That's what they say. I haven't seen it yet. Don't spoil it for me. But then the stories start going forward, right? A lot more people start coming out on this story. Start talking about the three women, that they saw this strange bipedal creature in the city of Brazil, the Virginia in Brazil. So it was brown skinned, large redhead, or large head actually. Yet it was slender bodied creature. They said it appeared to be sick or injured. Regardless of the girls, they ran. They thinking they had seen the devil. So they saw this creature while they were actually coming down this road by a gym that was out there, and they saw this thing crouched next to a wall. So when they went up to it, this is exactly what they saw. There were other sightings of this season of this UFO in this area as well, right? And of course, the media went nuts on this, to try to figure out exactly what it was. A lot of this stuff did, was they were trying to discredit this story many, many times, right? And it's just what always happens, right? When these things happen to in these little areas, military gets involved, yada yada yada. Here we go again, all over, right? So different stories started coming in of this thing that happened. Now, at that same time, that same day in January, this is a couple. They lived on a ranch on a farm, right? And their name was Enrico and Oliana, right? So they said that that day before this thing came down, the UFO came down, that they saw the cows were going crazy and they were like circling the farmhouse. They're just walking in a circle around the farmhouse, and then they saw the smoke. They said that we saw the smoke that was coming from there, and they said it was like they saw the object come down. It was the size of a small school bus. They all said the same thing. The smell that came from it was horrible, right? Sulfur. That's what we always hear about when I'm talking about a lot of these extraterrestrial stories, UFOs, things like that, abductions, even people that have come close to these UFO crafts. That's what you're smelling is sulfur. Now, when I was telling the story about these girls that came across this, they actually one of the girls, and her name was Kachia, I believe. She actually made eye contact with this thing, right? And she said that it looked like it was hurt, or it was trying to tell her something like it was hurt. And that was the moment where she realized that something was wrong with this. She said that the skin was real oily. It was awful looking, and the eyes were super red, and it had like this bump on its head, or like they thought it was horns, right? That was on its head. And as crazy as it sounds, or far fetched, a lot of this story was discredited all different kinds of ways. Oh, it didn't happen. It didn't look like that. Whatever. They were just trying to shoot it a different direction. Of course, the military, governments, things like that. I want you to know, man. So I'm going to show you this video real quick. It's off of a different podcast, and you just watch what he's going to say about this incident real quick. And this is, I believe, it's James Fox. So let's watch this real quick, and that way he can break it down a little bit different for you. Okay.
1996, often referred to as the Virginia UFO incident. It is said that a UFO crashed and live beings escaped, later to be captured by the local military. James Fox, a renowned documentary maker, elaborates on an intriguing aspect of the event.
These two doctors, during a procedure, the creature had a wound somewhere. They were trying to fix it. And all of a sudden, the creature kind of comes more to life. It was alive, but it kind of comes to life, and it communicates with the two doctors telepathically. And apparently the telepathic communication was, I feel sorry for you humans. You have no idea about your potential, who you really are.
Is that crazy or what? He's telling them, I feel sorry for you humans. You don't even know potentially who you really are. And I don't know if that's a sort of kind of defense mechanism for it, to try to scare us or whatever, to deter us and setting it free, maybe. I don't know. But that is a crazy statement. Now, in the beginning, you saw those girls. When the girls ran back to the house, their mother, she said, I'm sort of intuitive, so I was waiting for them outside. I figured something had happened. She said, when they walked up to us, when they walked up to her, I'm sorry, she says they looked scared. And she goes, what's wrong? And so they started explaining that they saw this demon. Now, you got to remember, this whole majority of this place, 90% is as Catholic, right? So, of course, they're going to think it's demon, right? So she goes, go show me. So they went out there and showed her where the spot was at. And she says, I don't, the creature wasn't there anymore, right? It had definitely walked away, right? So she says, but I could smell it. It stunk. Something was stinking, the sulfur. She goes, I could smell that. I could smell everything that was, and she says, I saw the footprint. There was some sort of a footprint there on the floor as well. She goes, it's so strange because this was the mother talking. She says, when we got home, we couldn't get that smell out of our nose. She goes, and then everything for days on end, that's all we kept on smelling out of our nose, right? It's like it penetrated into their nose cavity, right? And she says it took 26 days for them to actually get their normal smelling habit back. That's how bad this thing smelled. A Facebook user says they do look like demons. Yes, and in these pictures they do. Now, if you heard what he says a doctor had two of these things, right? So what happened was there was a fireman out there as well, kind of searching for people because they thought there were people as well. So he sees this thing on the ground and he knows it's not human. He sees it and he freaks out. He throws a net around and captures one, right? So he gets to capture one. This is how they got two, right? And then the second guy, right? He was from the military. And his name's Marco, right? So he ends up driving down the road. He's looking for this thing. He's about 21 or 22 years old, this guy. And he's looking for this extraterrestrial and he sees it. He jumps out of his car. He runs to it and he goes and tackles it down and brings it and throws it in his back seat of his car. But he said while he did this, that this creature scratched him. He didn't feel anything right off the bat. So this is how they got the two extraterrestrials. They already had both of these things, right? Where they had already taken them to the doctors, and special, military was in there as well, bringing special equipment into this doctor's office, right, or this hospital. Now you got to remember, this place where this happened, they have no police, not like our standard policing like we have here, like police officer. No. So if anything happens out there, it's strictly military. It's going to be the military guys that are going to show up to any of these places, right? Especially in these rural areas in the middle of the forest, in the middle of nowhere. So the story comes out that Marco, this fellow here that I'm showing a photo of, a few days later, he ends up getting sick. He starts getting a kind of like a bacterial infection. They don't understand what kind of infection he was getting, right? And his white blood cells, red blood cells were just kind of going crazy. They didn't know exactly what he had, or if this extraterrestrial had, you know, put some kind of just pathogen on him because of its skin. Remember, it's oily, stuff like that. So he don't know if that's what got him sick. But on February 13th, he passed away. And he kind of knew he was going to die in a sense. But this is the only person that ended up perishing from getting too close to these extraterrestrials, right? And the reason I'm kind of digging into the story a little bit before I get into it a little bit more is because I want you to know the backstory, a little bit of the backstory that's coming from this, right? Because it does have a lot of backstory. There was a lot of people involved in this. And a Facebook user says, how sad. Maybe it was like poison, like a poison frog on his skin. It's a possibility. And I remember I've talked about this before. There used to be a law out there. There used to be I thought it was still in effect, but it's not. So there's extraterrestrials. They did make a law, I believe in 1969 through 1977, right? But in 19 all the way through 1969, then what happened was NASA kind of got involved with it, and they said, no, wait a minute, we've been sending people up there to the moon, everywhere, and we want to make sure that we can make contact if anything is, right? So when they did change this law, they changed it, I believe, in 1971, I'm sorry. So they changed this law on April 30th, 1971, to where it's not against the law anymore to be close to this extraterrestrial. The only reason why I had this law because of the pathogens, right? Well, the story we just read right now is a prime example of what could happen to somebody if they get too close, right? And they always say, be careful when you approach these extraterrestrials. I say it myself as well. You never know what they're going to have, right? Now, out of all these years that passed, a lot of folks did not, it was just hearsay, and they drew pictures and things like that about what had happened um, on that incident, and what the people saw, right? So it was just a lot of hearsay and photos, because they didn't have pictures or anything like that, right? But this is where it gets good. So it changed, right? Because this gentleman came forward. He was a farmer that day, and he happened to be had his video camera out there. It's like a video camera, old video camera, 1997. They had them, and he was out there just kind of filming the forest, the birds and the frogs and stuff like that. He was just walking around the forest, close to that area, and he captured something that scared the living crap out of him. Right? Didn't know what he was seeing. Now I'm going to show you the film. Now you got to remember, when he released this film, he just gave to so many people, and there was no sound on it, and he took the complete sound out, so there's no sound on it. But I'm going to show it to you where I can kind of explain it to you a little bit while it's playing. Okay. So hopefully you guys can see it out there. This is going to be the exclusive of this video of this actual extraterrestrial that he caught on camera. And you're going to see exactly why and how these people and what they saw in the image of what you're about to see. Now, I'm going to go ahead and play this now. All right. So when you're watching the video, he's already caught he's already walked through the forestry area. He's looking, through the forest, and he sees this thing laying on the ground, right? And he's trying to zoom in a little bit, but he's starting to shake because he doesn't understand exactly what he's seen. And this is what this is what he told other people, right? The person that he gave this video to. Now you see, look at the top of the head right there. That's the top of the head, the cranium. You see how it kind of points? It points a little bit, right? And there it is again. Because you see the 3 fingers. This thing's about 3 feet to 4 feet tall. It's not very big. And he's shaking a lot. They did put some destabilization on this, and it's kind of hard to see, but you'll see it again. You're looking at the top view of this extraterrestrial, and it's laying in the ground. It's deceased. Okay, mind you. In a second, you're going to get another shot of the actual face. Okay. So he's walking around. He's scared. He doesn't want to get close to this thing because he doesn't know if it's alive or dead. Right. So you see it? Look at that. Look at the eyes. Look at the top of the cranium. Now, doesn't that look exactly like the pictures that I was just showing you? Look, there it is in a fetal position almost. So apparently in this crash, there's 3 of these things. There was 3 of them. It looks like this one perished somewhere in the forest area. So I'm sure that the military ended up finding this video or finding the actual extraterrestrial that was out there. And if they didn't, maybe the animals ate it. And that's just the reality of it, right? And that still right there is what you're looking at the top of the cranium. Now, I saw a lot of podcasts, a lot of older. I was reading a lot on this incident that happened, and a lot of people just really dismissed this as people were kind of like making it up as like a fairy tale in a sense, right? And they didn't have the video. They didn't have this video. They were just speculating, right? So, and the reason I brought this out to you today is because not just because the story is old story and it's out there, but I wanted you guys to see the video because there's no one out there that has seen this video, right? So, and I always tell you the proof is in the pudding. You just saw the pudding, right? So let's look at this as comparison. So what I did was I took a still photo from the video, I enhanced it, I clarified it a little bit so you guys can see out there in audio land. So there's a photo here, and I'm using comparison photos here. So all the pictures, the drawings on the right is what the people said that they saw. And it had these horns on top of his head, right? And if you look at the photo to the right, at the bottom right, that looks more on it. And so what they thought was horns was the actual cranium, the way it was shaped. Look at the red eyes in the original video. Look at the size of it. Look how it looks. This looks like a match to me. Doesn't it look like to you? This gentleman has been holding on to this video for years, man, since 1997 or 96. I'm sorry. Facebook user says these little guys must be everywhere. Thank you. It's a great show. I believe it. They say it's a great match. Now, this right here, to me, I don't know if to you, but what we're looking at and what you guys are in audio land are listening to is these pictures are the proof of they put the nail in the coffin on this story, right? Why? Because this video surfaced. And friends, what I just showed you today was disclosure. This is disclosure. Because now you know this is exactly what happened. It wasn't talking crap, they weren't making stories. They even tried to, they were even discredited. They were saying that there was this crazy man that escaped from one of their institutions out there that was walking around, and he looked real skinny and he looked real sick, and this is what it was. That's just one of the stories that was out there. Does that look like a skinny little man, no, that just looks unworldly, right? Now you know why these girls thought it looked like a demon. Look at it. So, and I'm going to show you this photo as well. This is his photo again, Mr. James Fox. But I want to show you something on this photo, because the photo on the left was taken by a different photographer, right, at the time of the incident. So here's the closer video of the picture of the UFO. You're seeing it up. It's in black and white. People in audio land, it's a craft that's probably about, I don't know, less than 100 feet up in the sky. And the photo he's holding is actually probably about 300, 400, 500 feet, maybe higher. But as comparison, I want you to see something that this is the real deal. Now look at the bottom left on top of this mountain. You're going to see like a tower, right? Are you looking at it? There's a tower. Now, if you look at his photo in this different angle, look at the bottom right side of his photo as well. There's a tower. So this is the same craft, right? This is exact same UFO that's there. And these were taken by two different people. And that's what I noticed about this photo, that knowing that this is the UFO that was actually shot down. The one he's holding in his hand, and the picture on the left was actually a closer image of it, right? And I wanted to use that as comparison so you guys can see that as well. And put your mind to it of what you're watching and what you're looking at tonight, right? Because that's exactly what that is. It is that UFO craft. Now, not only Brazil, but we have a friend out there. His name's Alex Smith out of the United Kingdom, right? And I talked to him a little bit today, and I told him I was going to show him a couple of photos that he has. Now, since we saw this creature of what it is, right? I want to show you a couple of his photos of what he catches out there in the UK on top of this mountain. Now he uses I'll talk about him a couple of times already, but he uses this amazing zoom camera of lens. I'm sorry, and he's able to zoom in and catch these things as they come out at night. Now these UFO crafts usually it's late in the night, early in the morning when he gets to get these photos in, right? So the top left photo is you can see the UFO craft hovering on top of that mountain cliff, right? This is in the United Kingdom by Alex Smith. The dead center photo is a picture of an actual extraterrestrial putting his arm on the ground with a red sort of looking head, right? If you're kind of looking at it, it's facing down. And on the right, he usually sees these other kind of human-like entities with these orbs walking as well. Now, and I want you to see in comparison that other people do see different things on a normal basis as well, and they catch a lot of these things that are up in the sky. Alex Smith does an amazing job, and he's got hundreds of photos of these things, and he's clarified, and people are helping him putting these pictures together. He's going to make a documentary about this. It's what he's seen and he's capturing out there. I don't know what it is on top of that mountain, but they're digging for something. Almost every week up on that mountain, and it's not people. You can't go up there. There's no way to get up there. Because I tell them, have you gone up there? May get it closer. You can't get up there. There's just no way. It's a mountain. I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah. And there's a lot of extraterrestrials out there that we see walking all over the planet, man. At the same time, extraterrestrials from Turkey, the one from Mexico. And are they coming here to research our planet as we try to research other planets as well, right? Raj Luzon says, I watched this documentary and it seems legit. Nice. These extraterrestrials have been coming here for a long time, man. And this story happened to break the internet actually like maybe 4 days ago, right? When his video popped out. And I just wanted to bring it to y'all's attention. I wanted you to see the comparison to the photos before I showed you the video. So that way you can make a determination for yourself of what exactly you saw and what you're seeing right now, what I'm showing you, right? I showed you everything. I told you the stories of the people what happened to them. Now, at the very end of this, guess what happens? The Brazilian military calls United States military. We go down there, fly down there, pick up these extraterrestrials and all the debris, and bring them back to the United States. Yeah. This is what they picked up. Saying great show out there. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is the information that I wanted just to bring to you guys' attention on this story. Now, if anybody ever asks you about it, there it is. There's the whole story of what happened there in Brazil. And like I said, the proof was in the pudding. I put the nail in the coffin on this show tonight because I wanted to show you exactly what these people had witnessed and what they seen. And it wasn't bullcrap, right? It was exactly what they saw, because this video proves it. And it is an old video. It's not a remade, somebody put, filters on. No, I could tell the difference. Believe me. I still have videos of my old camera, the hand cams that I have, and it looks just like that. Exactly. Same colors, everything. Now, on that video that I showed you, I did color it a little bit to kind of bring out the definition and the contrast so you guys can make out exactly what he was seeing. Now, it scared the living hell out of him, and I'm sure he just kept that for a long, long time. And I'm glad you guys are stuck around tonight to watch our podcast. I really appreciate the support and everything that you guys do for Alien Strand out there. I really appreciate each and every one of you. So I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's podcast. I love to bring the information to you guys as it comes out. And, share this podcast. Go to our YouTube, give us a like, hit a subscribe, share it all over the place. Watch us on Patreon, watch us all over the place. Wherever they shut us down, it's okay. We got our own stuff. We're going to get it on somewhere else, right? It doesn't matter. I'm not worried about that. You know why? Because you guys are what's keeping this going, man. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be able to do this, all right? So thank you guys on X, on Instagram. Thank you for watching tonight. It's just an amazing thing to show, and I love to show proof, because you know why? It is what's there, right? And like they say, it is what it is. That was what it was. So just kind of remember that. They're saying thank you so much for bringing disclosure, real disclosure. Yes, it is real disclosure, and I'm glad you guys saw it on tonight's show. Just remember that. I hope you guys, like I said, enjoyed tonight's show. Man, I just love it. I just love it. So we see you guys tonight, all right, or maybe another time. Oh, you know what? I'm going to have another guest coming next week, another author of a book. He sent me the book, so we'll probably get him on maybe next Friday or Saturday. And he's got amazing stories as well on his book and disclosure, and we'll get him on the show. He's an author as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. You guys have yourselves a good day. Have yourselves a good evening. And have yourselves a good night.
This is ASDP ufologist Terry Lynch from Oregon. You're watching the Mothership Alien Strand podcast with your host, Donald Bodesman.